Now, I was talking to you when I come right in the beginning about my notes that I was writing about moving from classroom to corporate office to my daughter. Now, this is the book that came out of those notes. This was being published in May by S.G.T.B Publishers. It's called Ready, Steady, Go. Huh? So, what does Ready, Steady, Go mean? Like a race. It's like a war cry for the race. Now that may give you a wrong impression, because Ready, Steady, Go normally is a sprint race where you have a 100-meter race. But actually the corporate world and your career is not a 100-meter race. It is more like a marathon. Now, what is the difference between a sprint, 100-meter sprint, and a marathon? Can somebody tell me? Time.
Sprint, you have to remain fast forward. The marathon starts slow. You have to keep your pace and you have to
Fantastic. What else?
Marathon is about pacing, whereas sprint is like before you even started, it's finished.
It's finished.
So,
Marathon is
any other point?
marathon is more like long term, like you have to save up energy and
Fantastic. Save your energy for the long term. Look, a sprint is brute force. Marathon is strategy. You have to strategize. You have to prepare. You have to ensure that you have the stamina to go on. You have to ensure that you do not compete with others, but compete with your own self. Whereas in sprint, all you are bothered about is beating the other person. Remember, everyone who starts a sprint race finishes the sprint race. Correct? Have you seen on the racetrack 12 people run? Have you seen all 12 reaching the end line? Mostly yes. Everyone reaches. Some a few seconds after the other, but everyone reaches. Everyone. Okay, they have to hit the ball and take the ball to 18 balls. So did I take 72 shots? Did I take 82 shots? So my handicap is and surpassing somebody else. Whereas a golfer always measures his handicap and says, am I better than my last time or not? Now why am I telling you all these things? Because to tell you that Ready, Steady, Go does not mean just go blindly and go for the kill and go with brute energy and without thinking. If you're going to do that and land up in your job, you are not going to win the marathon. Because that is a marathon, it's not a sprint. That is a game of golf, it's not a game of tennis. So we need to put some more thinking behind it. I did a lot of research before I came to the points. There are 59 chapters with 59 rules of success. Probably one was my own experience, but the other was interviewing lots and lots of people who I have worked with and who have worked for me. And then we came up with this sitting as students at your age, getting the job was the end of the world, was the most important thing. But when you come a little further away, you say, oh my God, getting the job was just 1/4 of the battle, maybe just 1% of the battle. The biggest battle is when you land up in a job and you find that everyone who's over there has gone through the same filtering process that Gitanjali was saying, and now technical skills is a hygiene factor. Technical skills is a maintenance factor. Everyone has that. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you become better than the others? Because your promotion will depend upon not just your performance, because performance by and large, everyone will perform well. Maybe there will be a little difference between people, but not so dramatic, because they all go through the same filtering process. How do you create that breakthrough difference between yourself and the others? And that's not going to come from technical skills alone. Even if you become a technical analyst, with one of the jobs that we were discussing, fantastic. There will be 20 technical analysts working in that mutual fund house. All 20 will not become the team leader of technical analysts. Only one will become. Only one will get the chance to become the portfolio manager. Only one will become the chance to go and get another rotation where technical analysis is being done. How do you ensure that you are that one? That is why it's not just important to get a job. I think we have to start planning from today how to not only get the job but then be successful in that job. So, prepare, protect and propel. You need to prepare yourself because the rules of engagement are very different in the corporate world, real world. And believe me, whether you are an entrepreneur or you want to join a design studio or whether you are joining a bank, all are very different from the classroom. Those are real world jobs. So you have to prepare and switch over your mindset. Second thing is protect yourself. Why? Your competition is not going to come from others. Your worst problem is going to come with your own self. How do you manage yourself? How do you carry yourself? You could pull yourself back. People commit career suicides. People have blind spots that they fall into. And before they know, they have missed the race. So we have lots of things about that, but I cannot cover that right now, but I'm giving you as a concept. The third is propel. You know, the corporate world very often is drawn like this. Your career is drawn like, what is this? Ladder. And we say that, you know, it's a corporate ladder. But this is a very simplistic approach to the corporate world. It seems that every level has the same space and every level has the same gap. Because this is how the school looked like. With a very little bit of efforts, you could move from one class to another. In the corporate world, you will not be able to move like this. One, not everyone will move up when he performs. In a classroom, everyone who performs gets to get promoted to the next class. Even an above average student, an average student also gets promoted. Here it will not happen. Number two, these are not equal distances. In the classroom, every year you get a promotion. We reach the corporate world, the real world, expecting every year to get a promotion. It's not going to happen. The corporate world actually looks more like this, more like a pyramid. Very often, you are going to be going around at the same level for very long before a gap appears at a level higher than you, and then you have to be invited up. You cannot say, I am coming up, and the gap appears. You have to be invited up. So who invites you up? The people who are already at this level. You have to be accepted. They have to accept you to come at this level, even when the gap appears. The second thing is, even when the gap appears, you have to be accepted by these people. They have to allow you to move up. One, the guys on the top have to invite you. The guys at the bottom have to accept you as their manager. If you lose that respect, you're not going to be allowed to move up by these guys. And if you lose your respect, you're not going to be invited up by these guys. So it becomes very, very complex. The classroom does not give us the preparation to move up a pyramid. Classroom is only teaching us to move up in a very predictable manner, one rung at a time. So complete shift in mindset is required. And that is why I say propel, the third piece, propel. It is like putting booster rockets to escape the gravity. You know about the concept of gravity, escape velocity of a rocket. Otherwise it can't leave the Earth's gravity. You require escape velocity here. These are very high-ticket reforms of your own self which are required. High-ticket reforms. These are skills, definitely not technical. These are personal skills and probably spiritual skills. Spiritual not in the sense of religion. Spiritual in terms of understanding who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Why am I here on this earth? What gives me satisfaction? Where am I headed? These are spiritual skills. If you do not have them, you will not achieve the leadership positions. You will become a very good manager. You may be able to move up a few rungs, but the top belongs to spiritually enlightened people. People who cannot just manage others, people who can manage themselves. Self-management. Self-management is a very wide field. Now, self-management starts with simple things, goes to very complex things, and that's why it's managing your physical appearance, managing your physical, mental, how you think, and spiritual energies. It all then becomes what is called self-management. Now, in order for you to understand what is this switch over, now I think let's go with a simple one. What is authority in the classroom? Who's your authority in the classroom? Teachers. Who's your authority in the real world? You are parents. In the real world, when you start working, the corporate world. Okay? Boss. Now, If you are an entrepreneur, your shareholder, who's again your boss. If you are a tech startup, your investor is your boss. This holds true everywhere. Okay. Let's talk about another easy one. Peers. Who are your peers in the classroom? Friends. Classmates. Friends. Who are your peers? Colleagues. Okay. Colleagues. How does your work look in the classroom? Study. Yeah, it's a question of study. Curriculum-based study. Everything set out for you. Actually, everything is written in the book. You complain if it's not in the book and it came in the question paper. And you say, oh, this was not in the book, and you still gave it. Yeah. So, okay, curriculum. It was study-based. In the real world, how does your work look like? Can you complain saying this was not in the course and yet came in the question paper and you ask me? Fine. Yeah, so it is a very complex set of interactions, including tasks and so on. So we could just say performance, because performance is both objective and subjective. There is nothing objective about it. I can say that. Nothing is objective. Now let's come to the high-ticket item, self. In the classroom versus the real world, how do you, as a person, relate to the environment? What is your relationship to the environment when you are in the classroom? I'm not expecting an answer, but if somebody has an answer, please do share with me. In the classroom, you are being constantly mollycoddled by your teachers, handled with kid gloves. Everyone is taking care of you. Nowadays, schools and colleges have counselors and psychologists to help the students. It seems that the whole world exists for you. You pay a fees to go to the college, which then pays a salary to the teachers. So in a way, as I see in my book I've written, teachers work for you. Correct? So you are the center of the world. And in a way, we feel like masters of the world when we are in the classroom as students. Correct? We demand, we expect things. We take it, we feel entitled to certain privileges. What happens when you go to the real world? Whether you are working in a company or entrepreneurship, I keep repeating because more and more students that I meet now world over, they are saying, look, we are not going to join the corporate world. So my answer is very simple, fantastic. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And who are you going to sell your products to? Who are you going to raise your money from? Somewhere in the corporate world will get involved in your life. Is really a resource. You are not the center of the world anyway. You are now a cog in the wheel, which is not being supported by teachers anymore. Your boss is not there to look after your career, like your teacher was there to look after your promotion to the next class. Your boss is there to achieve objectives which his boss has set for him or his company has set for him. And who are you? You are a resource for him who is going to help him achieve his objectives. Your success is merely a byproduct of your boss's success. Now you see how different the environment becomes when you come to the classroom to the corporate world. We have many people who come in interviews. I hire lots of people in different geographies. And many students come and ask, the first question is, what is my career plan in your organization? Isn't this a very natural question for you to ask? What's the career plan for me? And so I look back at them. I said, whatever you decide, it's in your hands. You decide. He said, no, but there must be a plan. You know, you're hiring me as an assistant manager. Will I become? How long will it take for me to become a manager? How long will it take me to become an assistant vice president? Because the mind is still working like this. There is nothing like that in any company, where they can give you a career plan and promise a career plan to you. It all depends upon you. And it all depends upon how you understand these 4 elements of engagement with the real world, which the biggest and the first is you yourself. So can you understand who you are? Can you understand how you relate to the other elements of engagement? And what is it that you need to do to become somebody who is different from others? The differentiation is not going to come from looks, like we were discussing earlier, and Githanjali made a point. You cannot differentiate on looks, you cannot differentiate on your work. I think these are hygiene.
Also become people who would judge people by the way we have seen this. Because it's very monotonous. I mean, in the end, you have to be open to innovation because that's what happens. Be keep a mindset that this is right and this
Very
is
good question. Fantastic question. I tell you why it's monotonous and why it's stay monotonous. When you are in the real world, whether you are an entrepreneur, dealing with a corporate world, seeking investors, or selling your product, end of the day you have to sell your product. Or whether you are in a job. Remember, somebody's money has been put behind you. That somebody who puts his money behind you wants returns. It's all about investment and returns. When you start putting your money behind somebody, to expect that person to be very predictably deliver returns to you. If he's a guy who has an unpredictable, very interesting, colorful personality, you're not going to leave even $100 with him. Forget $5 million. So when it comes to the real world, it's all about money. Somebody is putting his money and somebody wants dull, boring and predictable results. You can go to KFC, it's a great example, and see the guys who are working in KFC. See them outside KFC, they're very fun-loving, with all the tattoos and this thing, they have the head crowd. They are very careful how they behave even outside, by the way. When they come in the KFC counter, you should see they work like robots. And when their boss shouts from the back, they are, yes sir, pick the fries, put this. It's dull and boring because somebody is giving you a salary, you better behave that way. If you're an entrepreneur, somebody is giving you the money, you better deliver results. There is nothing exciting about results. Results are dull, boring, predictable. This is my answer. It is a matter of debate, and I love to debate on this. In my mind and in the people that I know, there is no debate on this.
So, given this education system, I try to do what best I can do, and I have confidence that I am doing that. But I just wanted to say that it's not good to generalize that we aren't preparing them for tomorrow.
Yes.
Because I am doing that, I am actually doing that. But because at the same time, the emphasis is on trying to build that foundation as well. Because if their foundation would be weak, the structure would not be that strong.
You know, what you're saying makes so much sense. It is because of teachers like you, I still have hope. And that's why I wrote the book. So thank you very much. Start becoming aware of yourself. Start analyzing yourself. Start becoming an observer. You know, me and me. I and I. There is a duality. Observe yourself, catch yourself doing good things, congratulate yourself. Catch yourself slipping and just tell yourself, next time don't do this. So become an observer. It's like you who's hovering above you. Finally, this you, the dual you, will become your director. It will start telling you things even before you do things. So the moment you create this duality, the moment you become an observer of yourself, it's a very spiritual skill. Let me define again spirituality, not religion. Forget religion. I don't care about religion. It's a very spiritual skill. Spiritual meaning what? Connecting to my spirit. The moment now I can observe myself, I'm aware that I, as Deepak Mehra, I'm addressing a student who has asked me a question. How should I conduct myself? First, I was thank you that you asked a fantastic question. Later, I'll have a round of applause that you had a great question. Thank you very much. So I'm conducting myself because I'm observing myself. Many of us don't observe ourselves. We actually remain in an autopilot mode. We are simply reacting. So this happens and this button gets pressed and I behave like this. Somebody crosses my road, while I am driving, somebody cuts me, I immediately beat on him and swear at him. Why? Am I a robot? Why can't I observe myself? So the first thing is start observing yourself. Start creating that duality. And it's a fantastic question. By the way, we should give him a round of applause.